Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Got a pretty simple video for you guys today. I want to talk to you about the top 5 most needed e-bike accessories. So this is the kind of stuff that once you get your bike, you're basically going to have to buy right away. Now, of course, when it comes to spending money, you can get extremely ridiculous and easily spend thousands of dollars. I mean, hell, if you want a solid bike frame, you can spend like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 on a basic bike frame. There's just a lot of people when it comes to any hobby really that can really get into it and end up spending a lot of money. But from my point of view, you really don't need to. Okay, so let's get right into this. And the first group of accessories are what I categorize as must-have safety equipment. So if you're anything like me and you built your own custom bike, your braking power is going to be extremely subpar because it wasn't designed for a big, powerful, heavy electric motor. So my bike, for example, had standard mechanical disc brakes, and I thought that they were pretty okay until I upgraded to the most basic and cheap hydraulic disc brakes, and I gotta say the difference is absolutely night and day. And surprisingly enough, they actually enable me to go faster because now I have confidence that I'm able to stop. The next basic piece of safety equipment is lights, both a headlight and a tail light. A lot of e-bikes do not have this as standard equipment, which kind of sucks, but luckily just go on Amazon, search, bike headlight and tail light. The only piece of advice I have for this is to make sure that the battery is rechargeable and that the battery itself is pretty large in capacity, because trust me, you're probably not going to want to charge it all that often, and it really sucks when you're out in the middle of the night and your headlight dies. The headlight I have right here also charges via USB Type-C, which is a feature that I really enjoy. Okay, and the final piece of safety related equipment is to have a decent mirror. This is a pretty obvious piece of safety equipment. You have to be able to see behind you, and a decent mirror is really going to help you with that. I would definitely advise to stay away from really small mirrors because you're not going to be able to see anything out of them. One of my friends just picked up an X-Class, and he made the mistake of buying a really small mirror, and I was just riding his bike and I couldn't see anything out of that. Now, in contrast to that, another one of my friends has an Onyx, and he bought absolutely gigantic, like motorcycle size mirrors, and they're actually pretty good. And the mirror that I have here, it's a little bit small and cheap, but the thing I like about it is that it's convex, so it allows me to see a lot more than the size might lead you to believe. Okay, now getting away from the boring safety equipment, the next thing that I still don't have that I just ordered, and you guys are going to see it on the channel shortly, is a good mudguard or fender, whatever you want to call it. If you're concerned about water damage on your e-bike, a fender is actually one of the best pieces of equipment you can get to better water seal your bike. Because right now the roads aren't even that wet, but somehow my visor is getting covered in droplets of water, and it's all coming up from my tires. And of course, if my face is getting water droplets on it, that means the underside of my bike, my battery, my controller is also getting wet and rather dirty. And having fenders just helps to keep your bike clean and a lot of the mud off of it. So fenders are a nice quality of life improvement, and in that same vein, I would say a decent suspension fork is also a must-have. Now, suspension forks is one of those categories that if you're not careful, you can get carried away and spend hundreds of dollars on a fork. Now, there is one cheap Chinese air suspension fork on Amazon. I'm sure you guys know about it. It's about 120, 130 bucks. Of course, it doesn't compare to the suspension forks that cost $500, but it really doesn't need to. It gets most of the way there. Okay, now moving on from this, the final category of accessories are just the small stuff that kind of add up. So one of my favorite small upgrades I did to my bike is the seat. I upgraded it, and again, I stayed super cheap. It was just like a $25 seat on Amazon, but it's very comfortable and it improved my quality of life significantly. Another small upgrade I did was the kickstand, because my bike by default, again, wasn't an e-bike, so the kickstand was rather dinky and wasn't designed to hold up a heavy battery and a motor. So sometimes my bike would actually fall over because the kickstand wasn't adequate, and if you're not careful, that can damage your bike. So upgrading the kickstand to something more beefy is definitely something I strongly recommend. Another small yet significant upgrade is to change out your tires. Changing your tires is a pretty simple, small, cheap upgrade, but it can significantly change the way that your bike handles and its on-road and off-road capabilities. By default, my bike came with knobby tires, and I do love to do off-road riding, but the majority of my riding is on-road, and knobby tires wear down extremely fast on-road, so I decided to upgrade to a Supermoto tire in the back, which is a hybrid of both on and off-road, and I'm very happy with how my bike performs now. Oh yeah, and also a rack. I'll leave you guys with this one. I got a rack on the back of my bike. That's actually one of the first upgrades I did. So because I have a rack on the back of my bike, I can actually go food shopping now and put my groceries back there. So it's a small thing, but again, it just really adds to the usefulness and utility of your bike. And it's something that I strongly recommend. But with that said, that's going to be the end of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, you're still watching, you guys know what to do. Leave a like, subscribe. I greatly appreciate it, because we're trying to grow this channel, make it into something bigger. But yeah, that's all I got to say. So I'll see you guys in the next one.